Hi, everybody. It's Joy.
And it's Tim. Welcome to this week's Live and Found.
I
And
cannot believe it is our eighth episode already.
that this has been so much fun, and I hope everybody's getting as much out of it as we are giving it to you. So this has been fun, and today we're going to talk about our next adventure with AI, which is alt text.
What's alt text? Explain that to me.
Alt text is, well, in prior, let's say prior to AI, in SEO terms, it was captions. But to AI, text is so much more. So, what alt text does is it's a layer that you add to your graphics that explains it to AI so that AI sees the picture too. Now, AI does great uh, image recognition, but what alt text will do is they'll add a layer so you can really explain what's going on.
Okay, so let's say I'm creating a social media post and I'm creating an image. What if I leave that image blank? Then what?
Well, if you leave
We
it blank, you're letting AI determine what the picture is. So let's say you have a picture of two people shaking hands. Let's use that. Um, AI will interpret it as two people shaking hands. If you add the alt text layer, you can add some, let's say, texture to that picture. Something like another closed deal by Johnson Plumbing here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Huge for visibility by doing that. What you did there is you said you gave it the who, Johnson Plumbing. You gave it the what, closing deals. You gave it the where, Colorado Springs. That's huge for AI visibility. And to be honest, AI may not even guess it right. It might be somebody, two men holding hands instead of two men shaking hands. So you are guiding the narrative that AI will see for your picture.
Okay, so really we're layering AI visibility. So you're creating an image, you're creating a post, and now you're adding text to that
Right.
image to direct AI on the meaning of it. Is
Right.
there a right way and a wrong way to do it? Is it too long, too short? How does that work?
Well, you want it to be scannable, so you want it to be fairly short. And we're talking maybe 100 words or less is better. But the key is you want to answer the who, the what, the where, and the how. That's the four answers you want to make sure you answer in that. So if it's a picture of Pikes Peak, you want to make sure you add that texture layer of explaining why you're putting a picture of Pikes Peak on your webpage or on your feed or wherever you're putting the graphic.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next. So we've talked about social media posts, but is it any different for your if you're adding images to your website or adding an image to your blog, or is it
Any
any different?
Right, any place that you have an image, you need to be adding alt text. So AI can then crawl through the alt text and it can grab it and interpret that picture. So if you put a picture anywhere about your business, you want to make sure you have alt text in there too.
Well, and if you've never done it before, and obviously you're the one who does it, I don't. If you've never done it before, just kind of like you create an image. Let's say you create an image or you have a photograph
Right.
because we do both. So I'm not going to say just create an image. Let's say you have a photograph,
Uh-huh.
you create an image. Where do you put that text?
All right. So let's start with your website. If you're putting it on your website, you'll go ahead and load the image on it. And then, like if you're using Wix, which was what we use for our website, you right click on the image, and what will come up is a pop up that'll tell you now add alt text. When we add it, and that's the same with your blog as well. So when we add an image to our website or to our blog, we do a right click and then we add the alt text. Now, some Wix will sometimes give you a sample of it. What I always like to do is I like to use ChatGPT. I like to read the image in and say, hey, create a, yeah, I know, surprise, shocker. Create alt text for this image. And if it's not what I'm looking for, then I'll say, that's not what I'm looking for. Let me explain what I see the image doing. And then ChatGPT and I kind of go back and forth and we get the image fixed or we get the alt text fixed to where it can be found. Now on social media, it's easy. On social media, if you're using LinkedIn or Facebook or X, again, there is a button, depending on which one you use, like for LinkedIn, it's called the alt button. You'll see an alt button. And so you'll post the picture like you normally would, click the alt button, and it's probably halfway down on the screen on the area where you are posting the picture. And then it'll come up with an alt text. In Facebook, you're going to click the edit. And in the edit, you're going to click alternative text. You will probably see Facebook's attempt at alternative text or alt text. And I'll tell you right now, it's worth reading because it's pretty funny. It is so off, but it's still fun to read. So you'll want to put that in. One thing that I have found out is if you are posting on LinkedIn and you're posting on Facebook, have the same alt text for both of those. So use the same exact alt text on your LinkedIn and your Facebook because AI will better understand it on both if it sees that consistency. And on X, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then on X, there's an edit button and you're going to add alt text there. A lot of times you're not going to be able to fit in the same alt text that you use from your LinkedIn and your Facebook on your X. But again, use ChatGPT or use your favorite large language model, your LLM, to put it down to under 270 characters for X.
All right.
Well, I was going to say, and if you use a scheduler like we use, you're going to put it in the first comment section, and AI will crawl through the comments as well for the picture. So there's no reason not to do it. It's not that difficult, and it takes an extra 5 seconds.
Well, and what do you think the payoff is by doing that? I mean,
I think the huge payoff is you are guiding the narrative of that picture. Like I said, AI sometimes will interpret a picture of like two men shaking hands as two men holding hands. And that's really not what it is. It's two men shaking hands. Like, let's take a personal injury attorney. Let's say your graphic is a car on a winter's day and the lawyer's help is with the victim or the accident victim and they're looking at the damage. Alt text, if you don't use alt text, AI is probably going to read it as a car accident on a snowy day. If you add the alt text, you can say Anderson injury law, looking at it with an accident victim and creating a strategy on a snowy day in Colorado Springs, Colorado. That's a huge difference of what AI can interpret. And so when a customer says, I was in an accident on a snowy hill in Colorado Springs, AI is going to use that picture as kind of a reference point for you to be found.
Well, and what you just said there, it got the location in, the name of the business in, and that's just building your credibility and addressing the location, and you want to be able to put in your location in as many different places as you can so AI can pick that up. So just for that aspect alone, doing alt text is an easy way to get your location and the name of your business.
You are,
Got it.
and I think the bottom line is you're changing it from a vague story to a rich, findable story.
Well, and one of the things that we have noticed since we've been in AI search is how much smarter AI is getting. And for example, when I ran a website scan this week on a business, and we started off with 10 points, then it went to 15 points. Now we're up to 20 points, but that's not my point. My point is that the scan could identify the blogs and the name of the last like 3 blogs and when they were posted. So if you think about when we started, we just wanted the scan to identify if they had a blog page. They didn't actually look at the blogs. They just wanted to see if they had a blog page and a website. Now, fast forward, it identifies if it has a blog page. It scans or crawls the last blogs, the titles, and when they were posted. That is how much smarter AI is getting. So my point is adding in alt text to your image gives something for AI to scan to build your digital footprint. It's just another avenue to build your digital footprint.
Well, and the other added benefit is if you haven't added alt text to your website or your blogs, it's going to show that you're keeping active on your website. Right. So it's vital that if you don't have any alt text on your website, that you add some at least on your front page, on your main page, on that your first few images. And make sure, again, we can't emphasize enough, make sure your pictures answers the who I am, where I'm at, and what I do. If you can answer those 3 questions, AI is going to look through that picture and say, this is gold. This is authority. This is who you want. This is who I want to tell people to go to.
Awesome. Good job, Tim. All right. What's up for next week?
Well, next week we're going to do a thing called filling the gaps. And what we mean by filling the gaps is we're going to describe how you shouldn't be loading up an image with just a name of, image 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You want to have a descriptive name in there. And we're going to be filling in the gaps to make sure that your website, your postings all have good crawlable AI foundations so that you can be found first.
Awesome. All right, then I do want to do kind of a little disclaimer in terms of AI search is really changing. I listened to Neil Patel this morning, and he was talking about, which he's been a little slow to the table. If you don't know who Neil Patel is, you can look him up. His agency is MP Digital. And he's really I've watched him for a long time, but like a year ago, he was like, oh, keywords aren't dead. This, that, the other thing, SEO is blah, blah, blah. And then he went to search everywhere optimization. That was his big thing. Well, today on the video that I watched, he talked really about the nuts and bolts about search and how people aren't searching by keywords, or keywords don't benefit you. And the example he used, which I thought was great, was if you're looking to buy a new pair of running shoes, the query is, I'm looking to buy a new pair of running shoes. I'm going to compete in a 5K in 45 days, and I have this particular foot problem. What AI identifies is this person is ready to shop for a pair of shoes. They are not an experienced runner because they're running in a 5K 45 days away, and they have foot issues. So then the AI goes out and looks for that information to answer the question. But my point is, AI is getting smarter. Like, you're not a consistent runner, you have foot issues, you might probably be in this age bracket, and you're looking to spend this amount of money. So much richer context, so much more detail. So AI is only getting smarter, and business owners have to adapt to the AI agents that are crawling your site.
Oh, 100% agree with that. I think the difference is SEO is static. Once you get your keywords out there, it remains pretty static. What AI is, it's dynamic. And what you want to do is you want to make sure your website, your postings, everything that you put out there for the public is dynamically ready for AI to find you. And it's using natural language. I don't think Joy and I can stress enough. Say it in your language. Say it how you would say it. Answer the questions that people are asking you. Use your natural language. That's what AI is looking for.
Well, and to that point, if the business addressed that query, they were having a sale on tennis shoes, they're for the runner that has foot injuries, and here's a 20% code, of course AI overview is going to pick that up as an answer, and the consumer is going to say, great, I don't have to shop, I can just click, get a coupon, and get on my way, which is what we help businesses do.
Right. So if you have questions about alt text, about natural languages, contact us at youraiwizards.com. Set up a free consultation. You'll get Joy or I or both of us, and we'll talk to you about how you can be found first. And of course, like us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on X, and we will see you for our next adventure in Live and Found next Wednesday.
Bye-bye.